Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom called Seri, there was a man who sold pots and pans. He was the Bodhisattva who was known as the Kachaputa. He went to the city of Andapura with another man who also sold pots and pans and was called the Serivanija. When they got to the city, they split up, and each went to different streets to sell their wares. They were in competition with each other, to see who could sell the most pots and pans. In the city where the two pot sellers went, there was a family that had lost all their money and relatives. They were very poor, and had to work for other people to earn their living. The only valuable thing they had was a golden bowl that used to belong to their rich ancestor. But it was covered in dirt, and they didn't know it was made of gold. One day, the greedy pot seller, the Serivanija, came to their door shouting, "Water pots for sale, water pots for sale." The young girl, who lived there, asked her grandmother to buy her a little present from the pot seller. "We're very poor, dear, what can we offer in exchange for it?" "Why, here's this bowl, which is no good to us. Let us change that for it." The old woman invited the pot seller into their home, and gave him the golden bowl. She asked him to give something to his sister in exchange for it. After the pot seller saw the golden bowl, he realized it was worth a lot of money. But, instead of giving something in exchange for it, he lied, and said it wasn't worth anything. He threw it on the ground, and left. Later on, the good pot seller, the Bodhisattva, came to the same street, and the young girl asked her grandmother to buy something from him. But the grandmother told her that they didn't have anything valuable left to offer, since the first pot seller threw their golden bowl on the ground and left. The young girl and her grandmother thought that the first pot seller was not very nice, and spoke harshly, but the second pot seller looked kind and friendly. They hoped that he would take their bowl in exchange for something nice. They called him inside, and gave him the dirty bowl. When the good pot seller saw the bowl, he realized that it was actually made of gold, and worth a lot of money, even more than he had with him at that moment. He was very surprised, and told them that the bowl was worth a lot of money. The good pot seller was surprised that the first hawker said their bowl wasn't worth anything. The grandmother told the good pot seller that he was kind, and that's why the bowl turned into gold when he held it. The good pot seller was happy to take the bowl, and give them something nice for it. He gave them a lot of money and goods, but kept some for himself. He then left quickly, and went to the river to catch a boat. Later, the first hawker came back, and asked for the bowl, but the old woman got mad, and told him that the good pot seller had given them a lot of money for it. The first hawker was very angry when he found out that the bowl he had thrown away was actually made of gold, and worth a lot of money. He was so upset, and became like a crazy person. He threw all his money and things away, and chased after the good pot seller with a stick. The good pot seller was already crossing the river, in a boat, but the angry hawker wanted the boat to come back. He was so full of hate for the good pot seller, that he became very sick, and died right there on the spot. This was the first time the angry hawker, Devadatta, started to hate the good pot seller, who was actually a very kind and generous person. The good pot seller lived a very good life, doing many charitable works, and when he died, he received what he deserved.
This story teaches us that honesty and kindness always pay off, while greed and deceit lead to negative consequences. It also shows that people who do good will eventually be rewarded for their actions. Hope you enjoyed.